For debt, what financial strategy and why? After watching this video, you will know exactly for debt, what financial strategy and why I am sharing it with you. Hi, my name is Rip, and hopefully you're getting some value from my videos. If so, before getting into the video, make sure that you subscribe. It sure would help me out. And hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when I post new videos. And hopefully, that would help you out. In 2008, I came home one night to find my beautiful wife, Eileen, sitting with a stack of bills and our checkbook in front of her. As she looked up at me, I could tell that she was upset and had tears in her eyes. She slowly announced to me, "We don't have any money left in our checkbook to pay the rest of our bills this month." What? I was horror-struck. While my body just stood there frozen, my brain went full overdrive, frantically trying to rationalize this new information. Did someone steal money from our account? Where did it go? How could we not have enough money to pay all of our bills? We both were making good money. Then I started thinking back to earlier that year. Our son had a lesion removed from his brain at the Boston Children's Hospital. All the bills from that were starting to roll in. Eileen had always handled our family's checkbook, while I took care of our two businesses' checkbook. I sat down next to her to console her and start looking through the bills, present and past. I started to notice that she was paying a lot more to the medical bills than I would have. Upon bringing this up, she defended her strategy with the fact that paying less to each of the bills would take forever to get them all paid off, which I definitely agreed with. The problem with her strategy, though, was that it was making us broke and not leaving us enough money in our checkbook to pay all of our bills. We talked about switching up her strategy and to start paying as little as possible to each of the bills. She handed me the checkbook. The next few months were brutal. Paying only $5 or $10 on thousands of dollars of bills seemed so futile. I definitely understood what Eileen meant, although paying so little to each of the bills afforded me the ability to pay something to all of our bills. A few months later, Eileen sat down with me to pay our bills together and noticed that I was actually starting to accumulate some money in our checking account. She took the checkbook back. A few months later, Eileen was not able to pay all of our bills again. We had a discussion about it, and that is when I decided to go on a mission to find some sort of program that would help us with our bill paying. What I thought would take a few hours turned into weeks, and then turned into months. Almost every night after getting back from my route, eating dinner, helping the kids, doing my paperwork, and restocking my truck, I would resume my search. Then one night, finally, I found what I was looking for. I'll never forget it. It was Stacy Moore. More cash for you was her slogan. Pay off all your debt in 1/2 to 1/3 of the time you're scheduled to. It was a software program that was designed to mathematically calculate the fastest way to pay off all of your debt. Stacy ran my analysis, and after some due diligence, those of you that know me know what that means, I was all in. I can't even try to start to tell you the relief that the program brought to Eileen and I. I'll never forget that night when I was finally able to start populating our new program with all of our specific financial information. I felt like a kid on Christmas morning that got exactly what he wanted. I know, am I a money geek or what? I started with our income, and then I put in every bill that we owed, and then all the monthly living expenses. I couldn't believe that something like this existed, and I had never seen or even heard of anything like it before. There were these 3 programmable dashlets that I programmed to watch as I entered our information. One was years to pay off, the second was principal remaining, and the third was the current month's discretionary, which is simply how much money we had left over at the end of the month, or how much money we were going into the hole that month. I think you know why Eileen and I love that dashlet. As I entered more and more of our information, I became more and more obsessed with the ability of this program. Just as our analysis reported, the program showed that we were on our way to become completely debt-free in 9.5 years. Now, we still had over 20 years left on just our mortgage. Then, because of the ability for us to pay off all of our debt in the 9.5 years, over 10 years earlier than our banks planned for us, we were going to save over $115,000 in interest that we weren't going to have to pay the banks. Hey, I get that this all seems too good to be true. Believe me, I get it. I was looking for something that would just help Eileen and I get on the same page for how to pay all of our bills without emptying the checkbook before they were all paid. Eileen was obviously a little too aggressive, and I was obviously not aggressive enough. Following the action plan in this program brought Eileen and I back into harmony. Not only were we back in harmony with how to pay our bills, but the relief it brought to both of us to not have to stress about paying our bills, well, it was just a blessing to us. I want to keep my lessons fairly short, and I've already taken more of your time than I wanted to today. That's why I broke this what financial strategy and why into two parts. The first part, this one, debt-based. And the second part, growing your money-based. So make sure that you watch for growing your money, what financial strategy and why, after this one. Let me leave you with what is the financial strategy here. You have to know exactly where you are financially every month. Whether you have software to help you with that, or my common sense monthly budget worksheets to manually calculate that. You just have to know. I know that if you are still here and listening, you're like me, and you are more than willing to figure out how to do that. Not only that, but you're willing to put the time in. If you're willing to put the time in, I can help. I know that most people have left. I'm always amazed that people work 40, 50, 60 plus hours a week, but won't spend an hour or two a week to strategize how to most efficiently flow the money they work so hard for. As for the why, I can't speak on behalf of your why. For my why, in the words of Pablo Picasso, the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. I'm here for you. Hope this helps. Thanks for stopping by.